So I've started reading Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol run, and I just got to issue 45. And I gotta say, this is probably the greatest fucking comic I've ever read in my entire life. Like top 5 single issues of all time at least. I'm serious here, this is not a joke, it's not hyperbole. This issue is just a masterpiece of twisted supervillain comedy. I of course recommend you read the comic itself. You don't need to know anything about the Doom Patrol to get it, as it's entirely standalone and only features one-shot characters aside from Niles Calder, the leader of the Doom Patrol. But if you're too lazy to read comics, just watch this video, as I'll summarize the whole thing. I think then you'll see that the Beardhunter is the greatest supervillain of all time. I mean, the thing kinda speaks for itself. So the story begins with Ernest Franklin, aka the Beardhunter, lurking on a rooftop with a sniper rifle. The narration is told through his war diary, gritty 80s Punisher style. The Beardhunter's target is a man named David Sanchez, a man who committed the horrific sin of growing a goatee. A smug little goatee, as Ernest puts it. So naturally, he's gotta go. The Beardhunter snipes David right between the eyes. He then heads down from the roof, using the stairs, as he says he would have jumped, but it looks kinda high and he doesn't want to hurt his foot again like last time. Approaching his fallen prey, Ernest pulls out shaving cream and a razor from his combat bag. He uses these tools to shave the goatee off, and then adds it to his collection of trophies. Like he says himself, he's the best there is at what he does. And what does he do? He hunts beards. Dressing into his civvies, he then drives off on a motorcycle, getting head-on by 2 ridiculously obvious gay guys. This upsets Ernest, but he doesn't do anything about it, because they don't have any beards. So yes, what we're dealing with here is a total nutjob lunatic with an irrational hatred of beards, who kills anyone who has a beard, then shaves them and takes the beard as a hunting trophy. Of course, he fancies himself a righteous vigilante, saving society from the evils of beards. Anyway, Ernest goes home, and it turns out he's living with his elderly mom, even though he's 36 years old. His mother inquires about where he's been and informs him that his doctor has been calling about his pills. Yeah, clearly he hasn't been taking his pills. Ernest just straight up tells her he's been out fighting his lonely war on facial hair, so she knows about the whole thing. She also accuses him of killing his stepfather, and apparently the guy had a beard, so yeah, I buy it. The mother then continues to whine about wanting grandchildren and complaining that Ernest's never had a girlfriend. Well, let's just put it this way, Ernest isn't really interested in girls. To be honest, I'm not sure what he's sexually interested in, and yeah, let's just leave it at that. Anyway, the Beardhunter is then ironically hired by the Bearded Gentlemen's Club of Metropolis. Long story short, they want him to kill Niles Calder, the leader of the Doom Patrol. What does Niles Calder have? A beard. But why does a beard club want to kill a guy for having a beard? Well, as the guy himself puts it, many years ago, following an accident, Niles Calder lost the use of his beard. The Beard Club then offered to buy it from him, but apparently Niles just laughed at the idea and declared the club lunatics. They don't appreciate that though, and thusly wants Niles dead and his beard in their possession. The best man for the job is ironically the Beardhunter, who's having a hard time just being inside the club, feeling sick to his stomach around all these beards. But it's another dangerous beard taken off the streets, so he accepts. It's pretty obvious though that once the job is done, he's gonna come back and massacre everyone in the club. And yes, this is seriously what's going on in the comic. I'm not making any of this up. I know it's hard to believe, but I mean you can see it right there in front of you. The Beardhunter then tracks down Niles Calder to a convenience store where he attacks him with an Uzi, his preferred weapon of choice. He accidentally hits a clean-shaved clerk instead though, remarking that the punk was probably planning to grow a beard anyway. Niles falls out of his wheelchair during the attack, but manages to crawl behind cover. Ernest is in hot pursuit though, but then slips on sunflower oil, going down like a $5 hooker. As he stumbles back on his feet, he remarks that he can't let Niles see him crying. Going for his trusty shaving cream, he realizes it's gone. Well, turns out Niles has swiped it and sprays the cream into Ernest's eyes. This temporarily incapacitates the hunter, but he quickly regains his composure. Shit's serious now, and to show just how serious it is, Ernest rips his costume and pours the sunflower oil on his chest to make his muscle glisten. Meanwhile, the cops show up at Ernest's house to talk to his mom about him. They've talked to his doctor, who claims he's potentially dangerous without his pills. Yeah, no shit. They also suspect he killed that man, David Sanchez, from the beginning. Well, the mom isn't surprised by any of this and basically confirms their suspicions, telling them that Ernest hates beards because he could never grow one himself. So there you have it, the great secret of the Beardhunter, the motivation for his crusade. The mom tells the cops that she hopes they lock him up because he's sick. I guess this is one guy not even a mother could love. We then cut back to the grocery store where the action is still ongoing. Beardhunter remarks that he's looking forward to receiving his payment from the Beard Club. He's gonna use it to fund his self-publishing venture, 1001 Top Shaving Tips for Boys, an adult graphic novel. He has very high hopes for this project and expects there to be a movie adaptation in which he'll naturally play himself. Well, unfortunately, none of that's gonna come true, as this young promising man's life is about to get cut short. Niles Calder is pretty smart after all, and manages to electrocute Ernest with some wires and a roll of tinfoil. Well, that's it for Ernest Franklin. He goes out smelling like burnt toast. The last thing he sees before everything goes dark is the bearded face of God himself. End of War Diary. Well, what do you think? Don't you agree that this is the greatest fucking story ever told? I'm gonna continue reading Doom Patrol, and I'll probably do videos on more of their villains, because they are seriously among the weirdest and most unique comic book villains out there. So stay tuned for all of that wackiness.